So the truth about wellness on nights is there is no wellness. Kidding. But for those of you who are about to start a night shift or just curious to see how it goes, I decided to film a video on how to maintain wellness while on night. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am currently hunkered down in my call room where I am on my week of ICU nights. So in my residency program, we don't have 24-hour call shifts. So instead we just have what we call a night float, which is basically residents who work 12 hours during the night. And so in my program, we actually divide these night float blocks into 1 week blocks that are dispersed throughout our schedules throughout the year. So this specific night float block is ICU nights. So I will be covering all the ICU patients in my hospital and then responding to any rapids or codes. So for this video, I just wanted to share you guys some tips on how to survive the nights and maintain a semblance of wellness, because if you have ever done or worked a night shift, you will know that maintaining your positivity and your happiness can be very difficult. So that will be my goal for today. If that sounds interesting to you, then just keep watching. So before we move forward, I need to give a disclaimer. So being on nights, it is very hard to maintain wellness because at the root of it all, you're changing your body's circadian rhythm, doing a complete 180. So that is going to really stress your body out, and it's not fun for anyone. But I feel like these disclaimers are helpful because they set up expectations. So now that you have the expectation that you're just going to be a little bit sad for the whole week, now it leaves room to focus on the positives. So that brings us to tip number 1 for maintaining your sanity on nights, which is to eat healthy. So as I said, your circadian rhythm is totally obliterated and your body as a result is in a very stressed out mode. And so one way we can help support our body during this horrible time is to eat a very healthy diet. So meaning lots of fruits, vegetables. And so eating healthy is actually really hard because, as I said, your body is under a lot of stress, and therefore you will crave a lot of sugary snacks. So things like cookies and chocolate. But you have to try to incorporate nice vegetables and fruits into your diet. So one way to kind of get around this is whenever you're eating something, always try to have a small portion of veggies with whatever you're eating. So for example, the other day I ordered a panini, but it came with a nice side salad, which is awesome. Another way to get around this is to pack nice healthy snacks. And so if you are going to be craving a lot of sugar, which you probably will, make sure you pack a lot of nice fruits that are more on the sweeter side. So for me, I packed some cherries, some bananas, and an apple for my snacks. And I also have some carrots to give some crunchiness. So try pairing your sweet fruits with a nice healthy fat or protein. So for example, can try chestnuts or any kind of nut, which is a very healthy source of fat. So try to pair your fruit with a nice healthy source of fat or protein. For example, like seeds or nuts. And this will help you to remain satiated over a longer period of time. So when you do have that sugar high from the fruits, it'll actually help to prevent that steep crash by sustaining your fiber, fat, and your protein levels. So tip number 2 is to stay hydrated. So I love this tip because it's one of the easiest ways you can fix your symptoms of fatigue, of feeling crappy, feeling weak, having slowed mentation. All that stuff can be fixed by just increasing your water intake. As an added bonus, it also helps a lot with overall skin health. So for the way I deal with this on nights is actually having a water bottle that I carry around with me, and I will always have this attached to me even when I'm doing my rounds at night. And yes, people do make fun of me, but you know what? Being healthy is fashionable, so I don't care. So tip number 3 is to stay connected with your colleagues. So when you're on nights, you are basically on the opposite schedule of everyone else in your life, and so it can very quickly become very isolating. And you can just be on this downward spiral of loneliness and sadness and unwarranted introspection. So as a resident, you're usually on call with other co-residents. In my program, there's only one rotation where you are isolated in a hospital by yourself, but the rest of the rotations are amongst your colleagues and other residents, which is what make it more fun and more bearable, in my opinion. So take advantage of the company of your colleagues and take this opportunity to catch up with them. If you do find yourself alone at night, then you can try to reach out to someone who might be in a different time zone than you. I have family who lives on the East Coast, so in the wee hours of the morning, if nothing's going on, I use this time to FaceTime with them and see how they're doing. Tip number 4 is to invest in a nice sleep mask or blackout curtains. But if you're like me and you don't have the time to figure out how to install blackout curtains, then you can invest in a nice sleep mask instead. So the one I use is, I'll link below which brand I use, but I swear by this because I feel like the outer part of the sleep mask is padded and it's raised, so it's not actually pressing on your eyelid, which kind of bothers me. So I personally really love the sleep mask, and at first it took a while to get used to it because I was never someone who slept with a sleep mask prior to residency. But if you are in a profession where you have to work the night shift every now and then, I would recommend getting yourself used to wearing a sleep mask when you go to bed, because this is a total game changer when you're trying to sleep during the day. And finally, tip number 5. So tip number 5 is to enjoy your expansive free time. Although some nights are going to be hectic, you will more likely than not have ample time to ponder and postulate and scream into the void. Once you get beyond the initial fatigue of nights, you are faced with a sudden influx of time to ruminate and take advantage. Take yourself for a walk around the hospital at night, admire the random details you would otherwise not notice. I think there's something peaceful about exploring a place at night. Remember those late night car rides or waking up in your house in the middle of the night? Use this time to study board questions, finish that book you were reading, or just contemplate the meaning of life. Or if you're lucky, you may encounter a night spirit. These are usually benign, but they can be aroused when they sense a resident nearby who has too much free time on their hands and is borderline delirious. You can sense the signs of these spirits by hearing laughter through the call room walls. Or knocking on the call room door. And there will be no one there.
Did someone leave the water on?
Everyone just do primary care, so you never have to deal with nights ever again.